shit in forever, gang. What's good, cuzzy? I'm trying to figure out. If you want to, yeah. I'll keep it open so I can see what you got going on. I'm just trying to. I think I'm gonna need a third screen for this, bro. I don't really know what else to do other than. Alright, if I keep this like this. Oh, I need to. Alright, cool. Yeah, so I got this right here. And then. Oh, you know what? I fucking hate Kick, but I turned it on just because. And within the first 2 minutes of me being live, a fucking bot comes in. Where's the fucking live chat, though? Alright. I can't do music when I'm on YouTube, so I don't know if I should just turn the live off and turn it back on. But some of the Swedestanians said they're gonna watch on YouTube because they don't have any other platforms. So I don't really know what to do. I have it on multi-stream, so I should be able to see all the chats. And I turned all the chats on. I turned X, Kick, YouTube, Rumble, Soup, Africanus. I couldn't figure out Facebook. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't go live on there. I said fuck Instagram. I'm not dealing with that bullshit again. Damn. I need to just watch my mouth and just not be an asshole, I guess. And yeah, that works. Yeah, that guy who got mad as fuck the other night, I know why he's mad now. He sent his shit into here. Self-made Sav. Bro, I watched for 2 hours. You just kept skipping me. I'm like, what are you talking about? You never said nothing to me. Yes, he did. He just said it to the wrong thing. All right. Here we go. I guess this is what's going on. I don't really know what else to do. I know I can't listen to music while I'm on YouTube live. So maybe tonight we'll just watch like some fighting shit, or I don't really know. All right. I guess all right. I think I know how I'm gonna do this. Oh, come on, you fucking piece of shit. What do you mean like live music? You mean like bands and whatnot? Or like other people's live streams? Like, I don't know. Live performances, okay. Good to know. I just can't believe, bro, I got myself in that much trouble, bro. Dude just came out of nowhere and disrespected me. So I banned him. I'm like, get that shit out of here, bro. My life was down like 2 minutes after. I was like, fuck, man. I should have brought my ass to bed, bro. I shouldn't even turn the stream on, but it is what it is. No, this is the last video I uploaded. Yeah, I'm mad far behind. This video's from fucking the 6th. It's the 9th. Jesus Christ. But I don't got no work tomorrow. So I think tomorrow I'm going to you can do whatever you want, bro. You can't? Why? Yeah, if you want to go to YouTube, that's okay, bro. Stream paused? Why? I haven't done this since I was fucking playing 6 Siege. This is terrible. I don't get it. Why? Yeah, I heard you, bro. I don't get it. Once I put YouTube up, that shit says, nah, bro. Heard okay. What the fuck? Okay. Well, I set that up so anybody who comes in here. All right. Is there a way to? Heard you. Yeah, I see you on YouTube. All right, cool. Yeah, a bunch of them dudes were messaging me today, like, "Yo, bro, what happened to your stream, gang? You quit streaming?" I'm like, "Nah, bro, I just got in trouble. I gotta learn how to shut the fuck up." When my suspension's over on Twitch, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna ban like 1,000 words. Anybody comes in my shit, bro, and just tries talking shit, there's literally nothing they can say to me, bro. Dead ass. Okay.
One of MC Hammer's old vocalists, who shared it.
That I don't know. Maybe. It's been a long time since I've streamed on YouTube, bro.
One of MC Hammer's old vocalists, who shared it.
That I don't know. Maybe. It's been a long time. Hell yeah, there's like a 20, 30 second delay since I've streamed on YouTube, bro.
One of MC Hammer's old vocalists, who shared it.
That I don't know. Maybe. It's been a long time. Hell yeah, there's like a 20, 30 second delay since I've streamed on YouTube, bro.
One of MC Hammer's old vocalists, who shared it.
That I don't know. Maybe. It's been a long time. Hell yeah, there's like a 20, 30 second delay. Alright, that was really annoying to listen to, bro. The echoes of myself. Holy fuck. Alright, I guess while we here, I'm gonna do what I can in Excel. We can build our list for tomorrow or the next couple of days. Like, I'm just gonna scroll through and just put a bunch of shit and watch later. Send me whatever you want on Discord. Um, Put some shit in the background. Maybe tonight I'll finally hang that fucking tack board up and I'll order the whiteboard. It's the same size. I'll move this desk back finally. I've been saying for fucking a week and a half. It's not even heavy. I'll be time crunching the fuck out of myself for no reason.
An incident from back in the day that showed a whole different side of Hammer, one that most people never saw. According to Benito, after a show in Los Angeles, Hammer and his crew were packing up and getting ready to head back to their hotel. Everything was cool until they noticed someone pulling up who instantly changed the mood. Michael Concepcion.
It's this dude in his wheelchair and about 4 or 5 dudes with him, hanging out. I know they Crips because my cousins all Crips in LA. So I'm like, that's some gangbangers. What they doing out here?
Now, Michael wasn't just some random dude rolling by.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know, bro. Cause that's how I got that copyrights whatever the first strike I ever got on YouTube was on this account. That's what it was. I was doing a music reaction thing on YouTube, bro, and they violated. I couldn't post a video for a week on YouTube. Nothing. Like, they went crazy. I was mad as hell.
He was one of the original founders of the Crips, one of the biggest and most feared gangs in America. Though he'd been paralyzed since 1977 after a gang-related shooting, Michael still held serious power in LA street circles. When he showed up that night, he wasn't alone. He had a crew of Crips with him, and it was clear this wasn't just a friendly visit. Michael told Hammer he wanted to talk. What he really meant was that Hammer needed protection while he was in Los Angeles. He warned him that LA could get dangerous and that if Hammer wasn't careful, anything could happen. It was more of a veiled threat than an offer, but Hammer wasn't the type to be intimidated. He asked why he'd need anyone's protection when he already had his own squad. And not just any squad, Hammer rolled deep with 12 bodyguards, and these weren't just some big security guys in suits. Some of them were real street dudes, men who had done time and men who didn't hesitate when things got serious.
And holler me for protection. I'm saying, protection for what? See, man, I got 12 bodyguards out there, and 4 or 5 of them straight killers. You know what I'm saying? So, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I don't need no protection.
So when Hammer basically brushed off Michael's offer, it didn't go over well. Michael pressed harder, repeating that Hammer should watch his back, and that's when the situation started to heat up. Hammer's crew was ready to go right then and there, hands on weapons waiting for a signal, but Hammer stopped them. Instead of letting things explode, he stepped forward himself and made it clear to Michael that he wasn't scared. He told him one phone call from him could shut everything down, meaning if Hammer wanted to, he had his own people who could make life hard for anyone who crossed him. Apparently, Michael got the message loud and clear. The next morning, the same Crip OG who had pulled up to intimidate Hammer came back to apologize.
Our people looking like, yeah, I'm waiting for you to move. Hammer, hey, what's up? He said, hey man, it's like this. I'll make one phone call and all this will go away. Hammer said, what's up, man? He said, man, I apologize for the thing. I didn't know, the people you knew or whatever, this and that. And I apologize for what I did, brother. It's all good, we cool, we good. Hammer's like, yeah, it's all right.
And that says a lot. For one of the most respected gang founders in LA to apologize to a rapper from Oakland meant Hammer's reputation ran deep. A lot of people don't realize just how dangerous Hammer's connections were. One of the reasons he commanded that level of respect was because his family was tied to Felix Mitchell, aka The Cat, one of Oakland's most feared drug lords. Mitchell ran the 69 Mob, a powerful organization that controlled much of Oakland's drug trade in the late 70s and early 80s. At the height of his empire, he was reportedly pulling in over $1 million a month from crack and heroin. The 69 Mob was so feared that when the FBI finally took it down, the structure didn't vanish. It left behind a network of loyal people who stayed connected, and some of that influence flowed right into Hammer's world. So when Hammer blew up in 1990 with Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, which went on to sell over 22 million copies worldwide, he didn't turn his back on where he came from. If anything, he doubled down. He poured money back into his city and surrounded himself with people from his old neighborhood. At one point, he had around 200 people on his payroll. Family, friends, security, and homeboys from Oakland, far more than any rapper at the time. 50 Cent. He's known for being wild and one of the few artists who actually went head-to-head with real gangsters and lived to talk about it. One wild anecdote came from Whack 100, and this one takes it back to the days when 50 was in Los Angeles and still beefing with former G-Unit member Game. Since Whack was managing Game at the time, he naturally stepped up into the middle of the drama.
Yeah, it's like when I get back on Twitch, bro, no bullshit. I'm banning like 1,000 words, bro, and I'm just gonna be mindful that I have to watch my mouth on that platform, bro, for as long as I'm on there, cause I don't want. This is terrible, bro. They said 7 days. I filed an appeal. I ain't get no email back. I was like, oof, heard you.
According to Whack, he decided to pull up on 50 at his hotel in LA, but things didn't play out the way he expected. I'll never forget the move. That dude 50 pulled a move on us so gangster, Whack said.
You got the drop on 50 Cent one time?
We thought we did.
We thought we did.
Until we got in there.
Whack claimed someone tipped him off that 50 was staying at the SLS hotel and chilling at the small bar inside, so Whack and his crew, about 10 deep, decided to roll up with confidence. But as soon as they walked through the doors, Whack said he felt something in the air shift. The vibe wasn't normal. Something was off.
Somebody called us, told he was up there. I got up there. He came in.
How deep were you?
About 15.
15 people.
Yeah, we wasn't that deep.
A quick scan around the lobby told him exactly what it was. 50 Cent wasn't alone. He was posted up and surrounded by what looked like a squad of elite, highly trained security, maybe 8 guys total. Whack described them like Navy SEAL level operators. Silent, sharp, watching everything, hands ready, formation tight. It was clear 50 hadn't been caught slipping. If anything, he seemed prepared for their arrival. In hindsight, Whack said it even felt like 50 set the whole thing up on purpose, just to show them who they were dealing with.
Got up there, we came in and shit. You had Navy SEALs with him. 2 in all directions. Probably about 6 of them. Guns strapped to they thigh. Bullies on them, semis on them. Magazine
Jock, what's up,
cartridges.
man?
I said, yeah. He ain't slipping.
Now, some people thought it sounded like Whack was trying to extort 50, especially since 50 never checked in while he was in LA. Whack is always talking about how important checking in is, though he tries to frame it as just letting folks know you're in town because anything can happen.
Oh.
He even says he checks in
fault.
himself whenever he travels.
Me and my people, me and my team, when it comes to checking in with us, is really just making us aware that you're here. I check in everywhere I go. I was just about to go to Florida, and I can show you on my phone where I hit my Miami team, said I might be down there Friday.
But in street culture, checking in isn't just a courtesy call. It basically means that when a rapper or celebrity comes into a city, especially one with heavy gang presence, they're expected to link with certain local figures and show respect.
Nah, bro, I'm just suspended on Twitch right now for another 6 days. I can't do music on YouTube, or else I would prefer YouTube over all other platforms, you feel me? That's why I haven't, like, the last time I was probably live on YouTube was, I don't know, like 2 months ago before I started doing music every single day. So it is what it is. Nah, I fuck with Twitch, bro. I just gotta be careful what I say, gang. Cause some dude came in disrespecting the fuck out of me, bro. So I banned him, and I was like, "Yo, get that out of here, bro." My stream was down not even 2 minutes later. No bullshit. Like, I was still live on every other platform, but Twitch was dub. That shit locked me out of my phone, my computer, all that. I'm like, damn.
And usually the locals expect something in return. Money, a verse for their artists, some business connections, something that makes it worth their time. Eminem. Coming from Detroit, Eminem wasn't built for LA street politics. He was an outsider in every sense, white, loud, successful, and backed by one of the most respected producers in hip-hop history. But in Los Angeles, fame didn't exempt you from the rules. There was an unwritten code. If you weren't from the city, you had to check in.
You better check in. Imagine, see I'm gangster. Crip. Straight up, nigga. Crip. Straight up, nigga. Crip. Sure.
It didn't take long before Eminem's presence in LA caught attention. Word spread that he was moving around the city without paying dues, and that made him a target. The Crips, one of the most powerful and deeply rooted gangs in Los Angeles, saw an opportunity. According to people close to his camp, they began applying pressure, demanding that Eminem pay up if he wanted to move safely through the city. Eminem's team quickly realized the seriousness of the situation. Paul Rosenberg, his longtime manager and close confidant, understood what was at stake. In LA, disrespecting or ignoring the check-in rule could easily become a matter of life and death. There was no gray area. You either complied or you got handled, but Eminem wasn't the type to fold. He refused to pay, refused to bow, and refused to let fear dictate how he operated. It was a bold move, but also a dangerous one. That decision put a massive target on his back. Without real ties to any gang or neighborhood, he had no built-in protection. In the streets of Los Angeles, that kind of defiance usually didn't end well. Rosenberg knew they needed backup, someone with genuine respect on the ground, someone even the Crips wouldn't dare challenge. That's where the Booyah Tribe came into the picture. To the casual fan, they might have looked like just another rap group, but in LA, their reputation ran deep. These weren't just musicians, they were Samoan street legends, known for their size, loyalty, and heavy connections to one of the most unpredictable collectives in the city, the Sons of Samoa. The Sons of Samoa weren't about claiming blue or red, they were about family, unity, and ferocious retaliation. Their reputation was simple. If you disrespected one of theirs, you paid for it. That kind of loyalty made them one of the few groups in LA that could move freely through both Crip and Blood territories without being challenged. They didn't play by any traditional rules, and that unpredictability made them feared by everyone. When Rosenberg reached out, an understanding was quickly formed. The Booyah Tribe agreed to look after Eminem, offering a level of protection that no label security could provide. According to Monsta Gunja, the nephew of the group, members of the tribe personally served as bodyguards for Eminem, ensuring that no one could get close enough to test him. Once the word hit the streets that Eminem was rolling with the Booyah Tribe, everything changed. The calls stopped, the threats disappeared, the same Crips who had been demanding money backed off completely. Nobody wanted to pick a fight with the Samoans. It was one thing to extort an out-of-town rapper, it was another to declare war on a crew known for going to extremes when provoked.
And didn't they do security for Eminem a little bit when M used to come out to the West Coast? Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Like was
Well,
or
Eminem was getting extorted by some Crips.
Meaning that they're saying you can't come out here unless you pay us, or...
Yeah.
Eminem himself later gave a nod to that alliance when he appeared on Booyah Tribe's 2003 track 911, where he rapped about being backed by 40-50 Samoans. That line was a subtle reminder that even though he was an outsider, he had heavyweight protection that demanded respect. The fact that the Crips couldn't force Eminem to check in, and that Suge Knight's camp also backed off once they realized who was guarding him, solidified his place as a different kind of power player. Snoop Dogg. After he blew up, his own crew, the Long Beach Crips, started feeling some type of way about him. They felt like Snoop wasn't doing enough for the people he came up with. He was still repping the set, still name-dropping them in songs, but according to some of the homies, he wasn't giving back the way they expected. One situation that really sparked the tension was brought up by a Long Beach Crip named Flossie. He claimed that one of their homies had opened a new restaurant in the neighborhood and it was turning into a local hotspot. Since Snoop had the fame, the reach, and the influence, they figured it would be nothing for him to either invest a little money into the business or at least throw it up on Instagram to give the spot some exposure. A simple post from Snoop could have changed the whole restaurant's life.
My homeboy Kenneth had a little soul food restaurant, you know what I'm saying? And I was hanging around, and the homies was hanging up there, so this was beginning to be the spot. The homies was like, they was getting the Snoop, you don't want Snoop to invest in it, you know? Nigga, we don't want you to put no money up, nigga, you know? Put us out there.
But according to Flossie, that's not what happened. Instead of supporting, Snoop allegedly brushed them off. Flossie said Snoop acted like they were just looking for handouts, like anytime they reached out, they were expecting him to pull out his wallet. He insisted that wasn't the case, that they weren't asking for free money, they were asking for support from someone who had the power to elevate the whole hood.
So I'm hearing all this sidebar chatter that Snoop, and I'm reading texts back and forth with Snoop to the homies, and he talking to homies like we peasants or something, like he gonna make the world think it's always depend on him for money.
Then the rumors got even messier. Word started circulating that Snoop had been banned from his own neighborhood. The talk on the streets was that Snoop pulled up to Long Beach with a small caravan, 3 or 4 cars deep with security, and instead of getting love, he got turned away. The story was that the gang wasn't rocking with him anymore, that they'd made it official that he wasn't part of them. Naturally, that didn't sit well with Snoop. He wasn't about to let people rewrite his history or spread stories like that without responding, so he went online and shut the whole thing down. He said none of that ever happened, that it was just bitter dudes trying to stir up drama because he wasn't hanging around them anymore. He explained he'd been focusing on mentoring young artists and giving opportunities to the next generation, not feeding into old gang politics.
You niggas is 50 years old. You can't get a job, cuz? You mad at me, cuz? Cause I won't help you no more? Cause I can't do nothing to help you no more? Cause I'm focused on helping out the kid, but mad and jealous at me because of what I'm doing, trying to blemish my name and my character?
A lot of people from Long Beach backed him up too. They said if it wasn't for Snoop, Long Beach wouldn't even have the spotlight it has today. To them, the whole situation felt like jealousy and nothing more. Waka Flocka. Back in 2010, he was out in the streets shooting a music video with Gucci Mane, minding his business and doing what rappers do on set, vibing, performing, and keeping the energy up. Everything was cool until, out of nowhere, this dude pulled up and started yelling all kinds of wild stuff at Waka.
I'm here. I'm here, bro. I'm not studying. I'm Gucci, you cool. We talking about dude.
Apparently, Waka had stepped on the wrong toes without even realizing it. Some people in that neighborhood weren't exactly happy about him being there, and this situation was the result. World star hip-hop actually caught the whole moment on camera. In the video, you can see this guy walking straight up to the shoot like he owned the block, throwing insults at Waka and trying to provoke him in front of everyone. It wasn't random either. From what people said later, Waka and this dude had a history. Some kind of past disagreement or tension they never fully settled, and now the guy wasn't trying to hide how he felt. And if you watch the clip closely, you'll notice everyone rolling up on Waka is decked out in blue, making it obvious they were claiming Crip. So on top of the personal issue, there was clearly some street politics mixed into the moment. Things got heated fast. For a split second, it really looked like Waka and the guy were about to scrap right there in the middle of the video shoot. Both sides were fired up, the energy was tense, and everyone around them seemed ready for whatever might happen. But somehow, it didn't. Nobody swung, and it never turned into a full-on fight. But you'd think that would be the end of it, but no, those same Crip dudes didn't let it go. After the video shoot incident, they kept going at Waka, talking trash, calling him out, but Waka stayed unfazed through all of it. He never flinched, never looked scared, and never let their energy throw him off. Busy Bone. It all went down on Monday, January 5th, 2009, when Busy decided to visit the Universal Studios Hollywood theme park. He was staying at the Universal City Hilton Hotel, soaking up the vibes and enjoying his time there. Later that night, he felt like grabbing a drink, so he headed over to a nearby spot called The Saddle Ranch, a restaurant and bar that's known for its lively atmosphere. While he was there, he caught the attention of 2 women who seemed pretty interested in him. One of the women walked up to him and asked for a picture, which kicked off a conversation between the two. Meanwhile, the other woman was standing a few feet away, busy on her cell phone. Things seemed pretty chill at first. The group eventually decided to head back to Busy's hotel room to keep the party going. They were drinking, smoking, and having a good time, but one of the women kept stepping out of the room to take phone calls, which made Busy feel a bit uneasy. However, the other woman reassured him that everything was fine, so he tried to relax. About 45 minutes later, though, things took a turn. A group of men suddenly barged into Busy's hotel room. Before he even knew what was happening, they started beating him, choking him, and robbing him of $35,000 worth of jewelry.
I started feeling something around my neck. Like, I thought I was dreaming, and I just felt like shit around my arm, shit around my neck. And then I started feeling like something on my neck, like something like choking me and shit. So I jumped up, and I was in a room full of motherfucking people, and I'm like, oh shit.
The whole thing was a setup from the start. After they got what they wanted, the group fled the scene, leaving Busy bruised and shaken. He managed to stumble out of his room and went to get help. Fortunately, the hotel had a solid surveillance system, and investigators were able to get footage of the men and their getaway vehicle. Just 5 days later, on January 10th, the car was pulled over, and the driver was arrested. His name was Marlo Jones, but on the streets, he was known as Bow Wow, a reputable member of the Grape Street Crips. Ironically, at the time of his arrest, Bow Wow was actually working for a gang intervention program called Unity 1, trying to reduce gang violence in the community. He even collaborated with USC football coach Pete Carroll on a gang reduction program. The investigators didn't stop there. They continued digging and soon arrested 3 more Grape Street members: Van Quan Knott, also known as V, Ricky Pearson, known as Lil BK, and Marquise Goss, who went by Cheese. To make matters worse for these guys, investigators found photos of them wearing Busy's stolen jewelry, his chain, watch, ring, and bracelet. With that kind of evidence, it wasn't long before all of them pleaded guilty. The sentences were pretty hefty. Bow Wow got 12 years, Cheese received 6 years, Van Quan got 11 years, and Lil BK was hit with 19 years in prison.
Level 1. The clean exit. Level 1 barely qualifies as betrayal at all. It's the clean exit, the transfer where both club and player acknowledge the relationship has run its course. These departures sting, but they don't wound. Harry Kane leaving Tottenham for Bayern Munich in 2023. Spurs supporters spent a decade watching their academy product become one of the Premier League's deadliest finishers. They saw him break records, carry teams, and embody their hopes. But they also saw him win nothing. Kane wanted Champions League and trophy glory before his physical prime expired. When Bayern offered that possibility, Tottenham didn't stand in his way. The financial settlement worked for everyone. There were tears in interviews, tributes from teammates, and genuine appreciation flowing both directions. The same calculus applied when David Beckham joined Real Madrid in 2003. Sir Alex Ferguson had already frozen him out. The relationship had deteriorated beyond repair after Ferguson famously kicked a boot into Beckham's face in the dressing room. Everyone saw it coming. The key distinction at level 1: supporters process these departures as circumstantial rather than personal. Their star didn't reject them. The situation simply evolved beyond anyone's control. It still hurts, but it's the kind of hurt that heals. Level 2: the forced exit. Now we climb into genuine betrayal territory, though at level 2, the guilty party is usually the club. This is the forced exit, the contract that never gets offered, the treatment that pushes a legend toward a door they never wanted to open. When Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was stripped of the Arsenal captaincy and exiled in December 2021, supporters were divided. Some felt he'd earned dismissal through repeated disciplinary breaches. Others saw a player who'd given everything, who'd chosen Arsenal over Real Madrid, being discarded like depreciated inventory. Either way, the departure was forced. Aubameyang didn't want to leave. Arsenal wanted him gone. Sergio Ramos experienced similar dysfunction at Real Madrid. 15 years at the Bernabeu, that Champions League equaliser in Lisbon. The captain's armband for club and country. The white shirt was synonymous with his identity. Then the contract negotiations became a financial standoff. Madrid presented an offer Ramos considered insufficient. Ramos waited for a better one. The deadline passed. And suddenly a living legend was holding a tearful press conference, blindsided by his own departure. Did he play hardball too long? Did the club undervalue him? The answer depends entirely on who you ask. The defining characteristic of level 2 betrayal is asymmetry. One party wants to continue, the other doesn't. And the one holding power, usually the club, exercises it in a way that leaves the other side feeling discarded. These departures create lasting resentment because supporters instinctively wonder, did we treat this person fairly? Did we honor their contribution with appropriate respect? When the answer is probably not, the guilt lingers for years. Level 3. The Strike. Level 3 introduces open hostility. These aren't players quietly maneuvering behind the scenes, they're players who stop showing up, stop trying, or actively sabotage their own clubs to force transfers. At least there's a brutal honesty to it. No pretense, no performance of loyalty. Just a player declaring through their actions, "I don't want to be here anymore, and I'll burn everything down until you let me leave." Ousmane Dembele's exit from Borussia Dortmund in 2017 set the modern template. When Barcelona came calling after Neymar's departure, Dortmund initially refused to sell. Dembele's response? He stopped training. He stopped answering his phone. He vanished entirely, leaving his club with no idea where their €15 million investment had gone. Dortmund eventually caved. They had no choice. A player who refuses to participate becomes a depreciating liability, and the longer you hold on to someone who doesn't want to be there, the more their value erodes. Dembele won, but the manner of his victory branded him permanently. Every subsequent attitude problem in his career gets filtered through the lens of what he did to Dortmund. Carlos Tevez's golf course holiday during the 2011-12 season at Manchester City remains legendary for its brazenness. With City chasing their first Premier League title in decades, Tevez got into a heated confrontation with manager Roberto Mancini during a Champions League match against Bayern Munich. Mancini claimed Tevez refused to come on as a substitute. Tevez claimed there was a misunderstanding. Either way, Tevez then disappeared to Argentina for months. Photos emerged of him playing golf while his teammates fought for the championship. He'd essentially gone on strike. Not for better wages, but because he was unhappy with his reduced role. Dimitri Payet at West Ham. William Gallas allegedly threatening to score own goals at Chelsea if he wasn't allowed to leave. These situations reveal what happens when the employee-employer relationship breaks down entirely and the employee has just enough leverage to make things ugly. The profile here involves a player calculating that their individual power exceeds their collective obligations. They're betting the club will blink first, and often the club does. But supporters never forget the calculation itself. There's something jarring about watching someone who earns millions per year refuse to honor their contract simply because they'd prefer to be somewhere else. Still, at least a strike is honest. Level 4 is worse, precisely because it isn't. Level 4. The Broken Promise. If the strike is a punch to the face, the broken promise is a knife slipped between the ribs while someone's hugging you. This is the territory of active deception. Players who look supporters in the eyes, swear loyalty, and lie. The betrayal isn't just the departure, it's the performance of commitment that preceded it. Neymar's exit from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain in 2017 remains the textbook example. Throughout that summer, Neymar insisted he was staying. He posted photos with teammates. He participated in training. He told reporters his future was at Camp Nou. He performed contentment so convincingly that Barcelona's supporters believed him. Then PSG activated his €222 million release clause, a figure so astronomical it doubled the previous transfer record. And suddenly, Neymar was boarding a private jet to Paris. He hadn't just left, he'd looked Barcelona's supporters in the eyes and lied to them while the deal was already being finalized. The damage here exceeds level 3 because supporters feel personally deceived. A strike is confrontational, but at least everyone knows where they stand. A broken promise attacks trust itself. It makes you question your own judgment. Were you naive to believe him? Were the warning signs there all along? Antoine Griezmann's La Décision fiasco amplifies this dynamic. In 2018, Griezmann produced a documentary, a literal television special, announcing he was staying at Atletico Madrid. He made his commitment into content. He turned loyalty into entertainment. Then, a year later, he left for Barcelona anyway. The production of La Décision made his eventual departure feel premeditated. If you're genuinely committed to staying, you don't need cinematic validation. The documentary exposed something uncomfortable. Griezmann was already mentally rehearsing an exit, even as he performed loyalty for cameras. Wayne Rooney's 2010 transfer request at Manchester United operates in similar territory, though he never actually left. Rooney publicly demanded a move, citing concerns about United's ambition and refusing to sign a new contract. The situation looked terminal. Then he signed a 5-year extension worth reportedly £180,000 per week. United supporters were relieved, but also unsettled. Was the transfer request genuine frustration or sophisticated negotiation leverage? Did Rooney ever actually intend to leave, or was this performance art designed to maximize his market value? The broken promise corrodes something fundamental about the supporter-player relationship. You can forgive someone for wanting to leave. You can understand ambition, money, trophies, family reasons. What you can't easily forgive is being lied to first. But what happens when the betrayal isn't one player lying, but an entire ownership class deciding supporters don't matter at all?
Level 5. The institutional betrayal. Now we ascend beyond individual transfers into something larger. Betrayals committed not by players, but by the clubs themselves against their own supporters. Barcelona couldn't even register Lionel Messi in 2021. They'd spent themselves into 1.3 billion euros of debt chasing Neymar replacements, 160 million euros on Coutinho, 140 million euros on Dembele, 120 million euros on Griezmann. And when the wage bill exceeded La Liga's salary cap, the greatest player in club history became the casualty. Messi sobbed through his farewell press conference, forced out by boardroom incompetence, while the men who'd made those decisions faced no consequences at all. But Barcelona's rot wasn't isolated. 2 months earlier, 12 clubs had revealed just how little supporters actually mattered to ownership. The European Super League announcement in April 2021 lasted exactly 48 hours before collapsing under universal condemnation. But those 48 hours revealed something profound about modern football's ownership class. 12 clubs: Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Tottenham, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, AC Milan, and Inter had secretly negotiated a breakaway competition that would guarantee their participation regardless of domestic performance. No relegation, no qualification through merit, just permanent membership in football's billionaire club, insulated forever from the consequences of failure. The furore was instantaneous and overwhelming. Liverpool supporters erected banners at Anfield reading RIP LFC 1892 to 2021. Chelsea fans blocked their team's bus before a Premier League match. Gary Neville, a former Manchester United captain working as a television commentator, delivered a passionate denunciation that went viral within hours. Within 2 days, every English club withdrew, but the scar remained. The Super League proved that owners viewed clubs as investment portfolios rather than community institutions. They tried to demolish football's pyramid structure, the system that allows any club, theoretically, to rise from the bottom to the top through sustained excellence. What made this betrayal particularly devastating was its scope. These weren't rogue individuals making selfish decisions. These were entire organizations, collectively deciding that the existing social contract between clubs and supporters no longer applied to them. Institutional betrayal cuts deepest because it exposes how powerless supporters actually are.
Level 6. The reversed betrayal.
Here's where we flip the script entirely. Because sometimes the betrayers aren't players or clubs. Sometimes it's the fans themselves. On October 27, 2019, Granit Xhaka walked slowly off the Emirates pitch. Arsenal were drawing 2-2 with Crystal Palace. Manager Unai Emery had substituted him in the 61st minute, and as Xhaka made his way toward the touchline, the Arsenal supporters began to cheer. Not ironically, not sarcastically. They were genuinely celebrating his removal. The jeers intensified, the boos grew louder, and Xhaka, the club captain, the man they'd chosen to lead their team, snapped. He cupped his ear toward the crowd. He waved them away dismissively. He mouthed profanities as he walked. Then he ripped off his shirt, threw it to the ground, and disappeared down the tunnel. The stadium fell into confused silence. Here was something football rarely discusses openly. What happens when supporters collectively decide to humiliate one of their own players? What damage does that inflict? And who, exactly, had betrayed whom? Xhaka later explained that abuse toward him and his family on social media had reached unbearable levels. His wife had received death threats. The toxicity had accumulated over months until that substitution became the moment he could no longer pretend everything was fine. The toll of sustained fan hostility is rarely discussed. Rejection from your own supporters triggers something deeper than opposition abuse, because it attacks the fundamental sense of belonging that makes team sports meaningful in the first place. Xhaka was stripped of the captaincy. He nearly left for Germany. Instead, new manager Mikel Arteta convinced him to stay. And over the following 4 years, Xhaka rebuilt his relationship with Arsenal's supporters to the point where he eventually left as a fan favourite. But that October night revealed something uncomfortable. Sometimes the collective behaviour of supporters constitutes betrayal too. Harry Maguire has experienced this at international level. The Manchester United captain was booed by England fans at Wembley in 2022 during a match against Ivory Coast. Not by opposition supporters, but by his own country. Manager Gareth Southgate called it an absolute joke. Harry Kane said it was just not right. Declan Rice called it total embarrassment. Maguire hadn't committed any betrayal. He'd simply played poorly for his club that season. And sections of England's fan base decided that his club form disqualified him from respect while wearing the national team shirt. The asymmetry here matters. Players are supposed to receive abuse from opponents and opposing fans. That's part of the competition. But when your own supporters turn on you, when the people who are supposed to be on your side collectively decide you're unworthy, it attacks something fundamental. Always support your own.
Level 7. The unforgivable. And now we arrive at the transfers so devastating, so perfectly designed to inflict maximum pain and inflict wounds that still haven't healed. Their names alone trigger visceral reactions from the supporters they left behind. Roberto Baggio to Juventus, 1990. Baggio wasn't just Fiorentina's best player, he was Fiorentina. He'd come through their academy. He'd saved them from relegation with crucial goals. He'd formed an attacking partnership so lethal that supporters couldn't imagine the club without him. Then Juventus, Fiorentina's most hated rivals, the club that had beaten them to the Serie A title years earlier amid controversial refereeing decisions, offered a world record fee. Fiorentina's president accepted, and Florence erupted. Actual riots broke out in the streets. 50 people were injured. Fans attacked the club's headquarters. They burned effigies. The city descended into 3 days of chaos that required police intervention to contain. Baggio himself claimed he had no choice. "I was compelled to accept the transfer," he said. The financial reality left him powerless. Fiorentina needed the money. Juventus had it. But when Baggio returned to Florence wearing Juventus colours, the animosity remained overwhelming. He was booed from the first whistle, and when Juventus won a penalty in the second half, a penalty Baggio himself had earned, he refused to take it. He couldn't bring himself to score against the supporters who'd once loved him. The replacement took the kick instead. The goalkeeper saved it. Baggio picked up a Fiorentina scarf thrown onto the pitch as he was substituted. The purple cloth became an apology he couldn't put into words. Mo Johnston to Rangers, 1989. This one transcended football entirely. Mo Johnston was a Celtic hero. He'd scored 52 goals in 3 seasons for the club. He told reporters he was coming home to Parkhead after his contract expired in France. Celtic even presented him to the media in their jersey, confirming his return. Then Rangers, Celtic's bitter cross-city rivals, in a rivalry soaked in religious, political and social divisions stretching back centuries, announced they'd signed him instead. Johnston became the first high-profile Catholic to sign for Rangers since before World War I. The club had maintained an unofficial policy against signing Catholic players for decades. By breaking it with someone who just promised his future to Celtic, Rangers delivered maximum possible damage to both factions simultaneously. Rangers supporters burned scarves and season tickets outside Ibrox. The club's kitman refused to lay out Johnston's kit in protest, making Johnston arrange his own equipment before matches. Celtic supporters called him Judas, a traitor, a man who'd sold out his identity for money. At Johnston's first Old Firm derby, both sets of fans booed him. He'd managed to unite the two most divided fan bases in Britain, in hatred of him specifically. The mental resilience required to perform under those conditions is staggering. Every touch invited abuse from 50,000 people. Every mistake confirmed tribal narratives about betrayal and character. Then he scored the winning goal in the 88th minute. Against Celtic. His celebration was provocative enough to earn a yellow card. The Celtic supporters who'd once sung his name now screamed abuse. Death threats followed him for years. Johnston later said he wouldn't have made the move if his children had been old enough to understand the danger. At the time, he was 25 and willing to test exactly how far one man could push against football's tribal boundaries. The answer? Too far.
Sol Campbell to Arsenal, 2001. If Johnston tested tribal boundaries, Sol Campbell obliterated them entirely and got paid nothing for the privilege of doing so. Campbell wasn't just Tottenham's best defender, he was their captain. He'd come through their academy, made over 300 appearances and represented everything the club wanted to be: strong, homegrown, world-class. For months, Spurs supporters asked him directly, "Are you staying?" Campbell said yes. The club offered him a new contract. He stalled. They offered improved terms. He stalled again. The reassurances kept coming. So did the delays. Then, on July 3rd, 2001, Arsenal announced they'd signed Sol Campbell on a free transfer. Free. Tottenham's captain, their defensive leader, their academy graduate. Walking across North London to join their bitterest rivals, and Spurs received absolutely nothing in return. The fury was immediate and endless. At Campbell's first North London derby, the abuse was relentless from kickoff. Spurs supporters unveiled banners calling him Judas. They burned effigies outside the stadium. The chants that followed him for years were so vicious, many of them homophobic in nature, that they eventually became the subject of police investigations and public condemnation. But the hatred never faded. Even now, over 2 decades later, Campbell cannot set foot in the Tottenham half of North London without risking confrontation. Former teammates who stayed at Spurs have spoken about feeling personally deceived. The wound never closed. What makes Campbell's betrayal particularly devastating is the completeness of it. He didn't just leave, he left for free. He didn't just join a rival, he joined the rival. He didn't just win trophies, he won 2 Premier League titles, including Arsenal's invincible season in 2004, the greatest achievement in English football history. Every trophy he lifted was a reminder of what Tottenham lost. Every clean sheet was proof of what they gave away.
and they received nothing, not a single pound in exchange. Campbell has spoken about the mental toll, the isolation, the years of hostility that followed him everywhere. In a 2015 interview, he said the abuse affected his mental health for years and that he felt abandoned by the football authorities who should have protected him. But sympathy from Spurs supporters? Never. Some betrayals are simply too complete to forgive. Luis Figo to Real Madrid, 2000. And finally, we arrive at the pig's head. Figo spent 5 years at Barcelona. He scored 30 goals. He provided countless assists. He became vice-captain. He won 2 La Liga titles, 2 Copa del Reys, and a Cup Winners' Cup. He embodied everything the club represented: Catalan identity, technical excellence, the beautiful game played beautifully. Then Real Madrid's presidential candidate, Florentino Perez, promised Figo a world record £37 million transfer as part of his election campaign. If Perez won, Figo would become a Galactico, the first of many superstars Perez would collect like expensive art pieces. Perez won, and suddenly Figo belonged to Barcelona's most hated enemy. His first return to Camp Nou in October 2000 brought unprecedented hostility. 105,000 fans screamed abuse. Banners called him Judas, scum, and mercenary. Fake money printed with his face rained onto the pitch. He refused to take corners, fearing for his safety near the crowd. Barcelona won 2-0. Figo played terribly. 2 years later, he returned again. This time, he walked toward the corner flag. And this time, someone in the crowd had brought a severed pig's head. The cochinillo landed near his feet as debris fell like rain. Coins, lighters, a glass whiskey bottle, a knife. The referees stopped the match for 16 minutes while workers cleared the pitch of weaponry. Figo's teammate Michel Salgado later recalled, "By the second or third corner, I turned to Figo and said, 'Forget it, mate. You're on your own.' I used to offer Luis the chance to take the short corner, drawing up close to him near the touchline. But not this time. Best to keep away." The match ended 0-0. Nobody cared about the score. What mattered was the statement. Barcelona's supporters had demonstrated that some betrayals cannot be processed rationally. Some wounds cannot be healed through time or success or apology. Some lines, once crossed, remain crossed forever. Figo won La Liga twice with Real Madrid. He won the Champions League. He won the Ballon d'Or in his first season, largely for performances in a Barcelona shirt. None of it mattered to the supporters he'd left behind. To them, he remained what he became on July 24, 2000, a traitor. The ultimate traitor. The benchmark against which all future betrayals would be measured. Every player eventually moves on, but some departures become folklore and some become warnings. Somewhere, right now, another player is weighing a decision that will define how millions remember him. If this video made you think of a name, a player who still makes your blood run hot, drop it in the comments and make sure to subscribe. Real Madrid civil war. Real Madrid don't do quiet. They never have. But what's happening right now isn't just noise, it's a factional split inside one of football's most star-studded squads. Reports from Cope's El Partidazo detail a dressing room divided into 2 camps. On one side, Vinicius Jr., Federico Valverde, Rodrigo, Brahim Diaz, Endrick, and Ferland Mendy, all reportedly frustrated with Xabi Alonso's management style and tactical decisions. On the other side, Kylian Mbappe, Thibaut Courtois, Arda Güler, Dean Huijsen, and Alvaro Carreras, players who have thrived under Alonso and back his vision. At the center of everything is Vinicius. The Brazilian has completed 90 minutes just 4 times.
Yeah, that's no issue. Yo, bro, I can't monetize any of my videos I'm uploading while I'm live on YouTube. I just asked AI why it wasn't popping up. And yo, mad
This
videos.
season.
A bunch of videos got blocked on YouTube. I need to come through here and delete shit real quick. What video is this?
Alright.
Not this.
Yeah. From what I know, this is the English version of the Bossa song.
Yep, this is blocked. And Tony Soprano too. This Elias song's blocked too.
But alright.
That's
This next artist is Shin. Here.
not this. Is this it?
Country is this dude from, bro?
Yeah, this is blocked too.
This is pretty good from what I remember. Let me go back in the notebook while I'm listening to this just to see what I rated him before.
Yeah, 1845. That's also blocked on YouTube. E4. Ah,
Tommy Lee
shit.
Sport.
Nah, that's alright, bro. God just giving me a warning, bro. That's all it is. Like, you got too comfortable, bro. Relax. You gotta lock the fuck in. I did get too comfortable. I know Twitch is heavily moderated, bro. And I still was out of pocket. It's alright. I'm gonna get off of here in like 2.5 hours. I'll monetize that stuff before I lay down. I'm not really too worried about it. I was just mad confused for a minute. Like, why can't I see any of this?
Has been holding back nothing in his attacks against Massacre over the last few days. But nothing hit harder than the song he dropped last night that did so much damage to Massacre's image that it has the
We didn't get to listen to this yet, damn.
entire internet singing along and
Last
wondering
night,
if
huh?
Massacre's career as the new generation dancehall king is over. It got
No
so bad to
way.
the point that there is now a whole TikTok trend being started just to make fun of Massacre. And many people are asking themselves, how could this even happen and what was really in this song to cause all of this? Well, that's what we're here to dissect in full. The song starts off by saying, "Na oddball na kick, them call up. Which new king? A man crowned them a all up," referring to the fact that Massacre has been shying around his disrespect this entire war. Since the start of the clash, Massacre has claimed to be attacking anyone and everyone who's against him, but yet has carefully avoided calling the names of those people think he's afraid of, such as being very careful to not disrespect Vybz Kartel in any of these songs and also being afraid to call Alkaline's name directly. He also says that Massacre, in his attempt to be a king, is doing nothing but holding up the crown with his hands. Because like he said on the song Destroyer, Vybz Kartel's crown is too big to even fit on Massacre's head. So the only thing he can do is attempt to hold up the crown with his hands and pretend. Which he follows up on in the very next line when he says, "Funds them why you come out of the floor, but from the real goat you got hijack a chorus." Furthering his diss from the last song, Death Day, when he says that Massacre lives in his one flow like he's afraid of property tax. He's saying that the one time he decided to come out of his one flow, he has to steal a chorus from the actual goat just to make it work. Take which program? Boy, me no robot, me no beg friend in a war, you for focus. Telling Massacre that in no way, shape or form was he begging Alkaline for help on his last song. He was simply just pointing out the obvious fact that he was afraid of him because your badness bogus, show me a show you, me this who you afraid for loudo. Because not only did he openly show he's not afraid to diss Alkaline by calling him Brata Boss, but also we need to remember that Tommy Lee has actually stepped up to the plate and clashed Alkaline before. And to make it worse, this was way back in 2016 when he was way more relevant and practically leading dancehall. So if he had the balls to do it then and Massacre is afraid to do it now, then of course he actually does have every right to call this out. But speaking of callouts, Tommy Lee then goes on to start the first verse by making one of the sickest, most intricate counteractions I have ever seen in a war. You see, if you remember back in the last song, we broke down how Massacre said that Tommy Lee is fighting for a room in Vybz Kartel's house. So much so that Sean Storm walks his dogs, Nuffy washes his plates, and Tommy Lee is so much of a waste man that he sweeps Vybz Kartel's floors. But Masika made a crucial mistake by assigning that role of having a broom to Tommy Lee, because bro came right back in this song and says in a brutal flurry of 8 bars back to back, if you see me with a broom and an a yard a sweep, at the broom where I wave in a can a beat. Them broom ya na leaning on a can a jeep. Them broom ya make people afraid a street. Them broom ya you can't tree make neighbor seat. Them broom ya trouble. Harbor beer police. At them broom ya travel we come off a sea. Saying that yo, any how you see me with no broom and I finna sweep in this. His rifles are so long and so intimidating that these are the types of guns that make civilians who watch the news not want to be on the street at nighttime. These brooms that he has cause so much trouble that not only do they harbor extreme attention from the police, but also they can't even be bought locally. They come from off the sea and are specially imported pieces of artillery. And he finishes off that 8-bar section by saying, "Me na laps in a war, me are the war machine." And funnily enough, he is saying all of this while holding a literal mosquito zapper in the music video, furthering the narrative that he's been calling Masika a mosquito this entire war. But this isn't even close to the worst part. Oh no, because during the course of the music video, as Tommy Lee describes these events, he proceeds to show a clip of him and his friends sweeping, and I kid you not, a pair of Crocs outside of the door with his broom. And as funny as this is on its own, it's actually the ripple effect that's making this so devastating to Masika's public image. Because not even 12 hours later, an entire TikTok trend developed of people playing the song and sweeping their Crocs outside of their house, showing that the people's favor just might be shifting in a certain direction that's not very favorable to genocide. Gunshot anyway me catch you now wacky dip. Any and grades when me mix pe me mali with. Making reference to the wacky dip dance, a popular Jamaican move that has become heavily tied to one of Masika's biggest songs ever, Tyrant, because he mentions it in the intro. Tommy Lee is saying that as Masika leans down to do the wacky dip dance, the very second he comes back up, he will be met with metal and demise. But the next line is what actually replies to many of Masika's "This is all at once." Henny and grades when me mix for me mali with. Once again, not only openly admitting to his drug use, but also glorifying the extent to which he does it. Laughing at Masika, who really thinks that dissing him about something that he was always proudly open about is going to get him any points in the clash. But here is where things start to get personal. Shot graze my data, a badness politics. Boy would do that? Disappear, poof, magically. Police are asked for the body for the family. Now, this is referring to the criminal case we broke down in the last video where somebody in the community of Flanker St. James shot Tommy Lee's daughter when she was just 6 years old. And Masika said in his song Revelations, "Man shot your daughter, go defend that." Tommy Lee replies and says that even though his daughter was shot, not only was it just a graze, but also the situation was a random altercation between multiple people where innocent civilians like his daughter just happened to be caught in the crossfire, and nobody would ever dare do that to him on purpose. And that the incident was just an unfortunate accident of badness politics. But even though it was completely unintentional and the person who did it probably regretted it the second it happened, we still made a brutal example out of him. And just like that, one day he disappeared, and up to now, the police still cannot find a body to show to his family. And of course, if you watched our last breakdown, you would know that all of this is confirmed facts about a guy named Eggman who was a primary suspect in the shooting of that little girl. And in all honesty, he did kind of snitch on himself there, but it was still an amazing response to what Masika said. And after this, he attempts to discredit Masika's badness once more by saying, "One bag of cussing and bad off for nothing. The done beat you up and your dog are Huggins. 438, new record are running." Saying that not only was Masika physically beaten by a Don, but after that he actually ran away. And ran away so fast that he broke Usain Bolt's world record of 9.58 seconds by doing it in just 4.38 seconds. Which for those of you who don't know is the name of Masika's biggest album, 438. And he immediately followed that up with saying, "Only act bad palm Pro Tool plugin," which is the name of the software that almost every artist and studio uses to record their vocals. Saying that Masika is only bad when it comes to his fake image on a song. An image so fake that in fact in the very next line he says, Bait. Nobody no hesitate for rush him. Pensef done him. The killers not trust him. Where Tommy Lee is saying that the real killers of Grand Spen, a well-known Jamaican ghetto, do not in any way trust Massacre as anybody of substance. Instead, he is nothing but a little bait. A punk that nobody is afraid to rob, test, or bitch up in any way. Here say him I go obey a man, me not judge him, cause him have a demon a unbug him. Saying that apparently he heard a rumor that Massacre was visiting an Obia man, but he actually isn't judging him for it because he understands that he has a demon haunting him night and day, preventing him from having an ounce of peace. And of course, if you've been paying attention, the demon he's referring to is obviously himself. But he actually gets even more demonic when he starts singing the chorus, a catchy and almost creepy kind of nursery rhyme that's making the rounds on social media that goes, step, 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 anyway a step, death, 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 anyway at any hollow point, marrow fly, mother cry. Emphasizing that anywhere Massacre goes, he will be found and dealt with swiftly, with no remorse for his mother's emotions. Rise up the war machine for cause a scene, a murder, me light my coal, my heart a freeze. Me show genocide says Sparta dark a theme. Corey, you must buy that goat there off a sheen. Circle the swamp, the cracks them gone back in. The rifle me clot it, part the water theme. Name dropping Massacre's manager Corey Todd and saying, yo Corey, you feel say a client of the goat? I must sheen you by the goat there. Because he is the fake, rip-off, knockoff version of the actual goat Vibes Cartel. And also, when he pulls up to the swamp and circles it, both Corey, Massacre, and the rest of the Crocs are so scared that they run back in the water. But Tommy Lee is so ruthless that not only will that not stop him, but he will also be shooting his high-powered rifle into the swamp. And because of the extremely high power of the force and ammunition, it will part the water and expose the hiding place of these scared crocodiles. But speaking of people in Massacre's life, he then proceeds to fire one of the most disrespectful strays in the entire war toward none other than Massacre's baby mother Climax, who has apparently been posting on her Instagram stories since she was first name dropped in the song Destroyer, defending herself and Massacre. War get ugly, me no play fear your baby mother jumpy, a big man a war you know, go and go sit down bitch, boxing her away like an insignificant fly with zero importance, and continues dissing her and even her child when he says, me aim for kill and nothing nobody love me, and nothing do change when the son still a ton fish. Doubling down on the narrative that due to Massacre's love of material possessions that he will now pass on to his son, he too will be willing to do something strange for a piece of change. And goes on to say that not even these very material possessions can save him from the mental anguish that Tommy Lee has in store for him when he says, business fix, birthday never comfy, demon make your torment in your luxury. Saying that not even on his very birthday, where he spent it in his $1 million house and cars, was he capable of enjoying it and being happy. No, instead it was spent filled with fears and anxiety of what Tommy Lee Sparta would do to him, as the image of Uncle Demon haunted his mind. Mobe a filmy place, show me a ooh for run me. No junkie, go drop in a your ma, Humpty Dumpty. Continuing to reaffirm his badness by saying that Mobe is still his domain, and since Massacre is so confident that he ran away, Tommy Lee is urging and begging that please show me who could have really run me from my place. Ma want you call name and show me right now. Call them, showing his confidence that nothing no go so, and then goes into arguably the most insane emasculation of this entire clash. I coulda wadu dancehall beating stick, beating from everybody where you're beefing with. Lengofi buy gun, feel him slick, killer them take him money and beat him sick. Saying that Massacre has been physically assaulted by so many different people because nobody, and I mean nobody, is afraid of any potential consequences they could get from doing so, because him can't do nothing. So much so that even when one of his very associates was given money to buy guns for him, instead the men took Massacre's money for themselves, beat him senseless and left him to rot. Now I have no clue how true this story is, but if even 1% of it is facts, then that is just crazy. Better you go in a war again. You got dead pon the day where you're born again. You better baptize demons off of them, slowly torture them, hear Giovanna beg. Calling Massacre by his government name, reducing him to a mere civilian and saying that he would be begging for his life, and continues into a sea of other responses to Massacre's song when he says, "Me done pass forth and start again, which bank book richer than all of them?" Responding to the constant narrative that Massacre has had for every song that Tommy Lee is allegedly broke, and in revelation when he said his bank book is empty. And anyway, me book know, me a cause problem. Tarrus Riley better in your corner, friend. With that last line being a double entendre on one of Massacre's hit songs, Corner, featuring Tarrus Riley. The song goes into its creepy chorus one more time, and just like that, the song ends. And people, like I said, if you thought the reaction to the other songs was crazy, this song literally has people saying that the war is over and there is no way Massacre can come back from this. Especially since Massacre allegedly said that the last song he dropped was going to be his final song. And to make matters worse, Tommy Lee continues his trolling even harder, because the very next day after the song was posted, he continued to troll Massacre's camp by posting a video on his Instagram of a young Joshi singing his heart out on stage before the fame with the caption, "To all my sexy ladies," and had everybody rolling with laughter. So let me just say this, if Massacre does not reply to this absolute bombshell of a diss, I am sure that his status as the GOAT of this new generation really just might be over. Because this clash is really a life lesson in perception. See, you'd never believe it, but this clash actually started off with Tommy Lee in the lower position because he actually had real dirt on his name. To have direct physical evidence of somebody bawling their eyes out on recording has to be one of the most incriminating and embarrassing things to the image of a bad man. Yet still, despite being the one in this position with concrete evidence against him, Tommy Lee is now winning the public favor. Why? Because no matter what Massacre said about him, he literally continued to not care. He is not taking this seriously at all, while Massacre continues to treat this like a serious war, fighting for his life and respect. Tommy Lee is treating this like nothing more than entertainment, as he continues to troll Massacre at every turn using lyrics, catchy choruses, ad-libs, Instagram story posts, and hilarious comment sections. And guess what? The truth is that as long as you keep the people entertained in the entertainment industry, they literally don't care about anything else. But still, only time will tell in regards to what Massacre will do. And because of how talented he is, I still have faith in him. So until that time comes, go and watch the full advanced breakdown we did of the other songs in the clash, which also includes the criminal breakdown of what happened with Tommy Lee's daughter and the man who was allegedly responsible. Subscribe to the channel for when the next song drops, and as always, until next time, Massacre and Tommy Lee have been locked into the most heated clash dancehall has seen in a while. And things got so heated that other artists have become caught in the crossfire, like Skeng and now even Alkaline himself. But as much as some were called by name and others were drawn upon to make an example, there is one man who decided to insert himself into the clash where nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, asked him to do so, and that is none other than Sean Storm himself. Sean Storm is a well-known associate of Vybz Kartel who was arrested right alongside him for the murder of a certain reptile, and instead of snitching or switching, he did the entire 13-year stretch right alongside his dear friend Adidja Palmer. However, the difference between them is that Vybz Kartel had been making music the entire time while Sean Storm was not, and since he had no time to practice his musical skill, when he eventually came out of prison and it was time for him to start dropping again, his fans may have been excited, but we quickly found out that no, this nigga was straight ass. But at the very least, he was just a guy enjoying his freedom and making the art that he wanted. Nobody could hate on that. I mean, there's just no reason to. But that was until 48 hours ago when he decided to place himself in a situation where he literally had no business being, against Massacre, when he uploaded a song to his channel called Now. And let me just say, the reception has not been very good. But you know what? Before I say anything about the song, I only heard a small part of it, so maybe I was wrong. Maybe it has more potential and you guys can listen to it with me and we decide.
If them this them get dismissed. Chip black dead kill quick.
Get this nigga the f off the stage. I don't know who in their right mind sat down, let this nigga walk into a studio, release this absolute filth into the microphone, and leave with a fully produced and mixed track. But whoever in a Gaza actually sit down and approve this for be released, me know say I have a secret agenda. Me know say Cartel Goodly I call on the man phone and say, yo, how the Bumbaras here you make this release. But you know what? Maybe me a be too hard on it because of the delivery. Me could actually sit down and hear the lyrics, right? Cause the lyrics man this you know, remember say a Vibes Cartel right on this you know, bro.
Mountain View have a crocodile, thick lip when he sound pow pow. All your mama piss shit.
When the sound pow pow, all your mama piss shit. Truly, truly, truly the epitome of lyrical prowess in our generation. Who could have come up with something better than that? Make your mama piss shit. Wow, I almost don't need to listen to the rest of the song because the lyrics are just sort of, I can't. But you know what? We still are gonna do it.
Brawling, brawling, go for them brawling. Mickle day, mickle night or early morning.
And just for sure say man them have an agenda against Gaza, you know, bro. You know, could they even put little auto-tune on the man voice? Not even little, like, you could even help out the dog little bit. But you know what? No. Them can't stifle the dog talent with mixing and auto-tune, bro. That are gonna ruin the natural effect of his greatness, bro. Come on.
As you wake up right before your yarn. Rifle shot, send your back to sleep. No fuck for bus.
The dog say, send your back go sleep. Dog, I cannot believe this is real.
No fuck for bus, my gun, no. Come be bus lows. Police are coming, now go run top bus, me come no. Come be bus lows.
Yo, best believe it literally just continues like this for like the final minute. Like he actually literally has nothing else to say and he just repeats this. But if you thought that my criticism of this song was harsh, as soon as you don't even have to open the comment, bro, the first thing you see is like 10 laughing emojis and a dog say, I must comedy this to Pussyclat. Next! And the first man reply say, they really make that come out to the studio. Next comment say, Simon some man for go mix. Come Sean, like in the morning, better early. And then of course, in the midst of all of this, we're gonna have that one dick rider who literally, you couldn't even go to back road to pay for this level of dick riding. The dog say, people not gonna like this, you know, but I because them not rating, man. No, nigga, the shit just ass. We need to stop lying to these artists. Your music is trash, bro. See our next one, you know, no? This is not a diss to Uno, wash up artists. Go suck your mother, boy. Man name O'Neal Gaza. Bro, niggas is dick riding. You're not getting paid for this. Them not pay you, bro. They're not paying you. And now finally we have an honest Gaza fan. Man say, Gaza me say, but Sean, please, just sit this one out. Bro, and that's the next thing. People are coming out for me in the comments them about me bias and oh, me a pick side in a war. True me say certain song weak or certain song tough. But man, if the video is a song review, either the review can be positive or negative because every song is different. So why on God's green earth you just sit down and expect say every single review are gonna be positive? That makes sense. If you look on this channel right there, so your sister bro, any fan base. In fact, I have a whole video dissing every fan base. I have no loyalty to none of you niggas, cause none of you not pay me. As Terror Dan said, a music we love, not man. So please, if Una really feels me biased to this and that, nigga, I listen to all of these artists because this is dancehall. That's what the whole point is. We listen to all of them. We like all their music. That's why we even care about the Clash. What are we doing? Oh, you're biased. Oh, nigga, go look at work. Go look at job. You're so invested in this for no reason. Be happy that this is happening. Anyways, as for the actual sensible comments that actually gave reasons for why they didn't agree with my opinion on Tears instead of just getting in their feelings that I didn't worship their Don, the main take that I'm seeing is that Tears was some amazing psychological deep response because of some of the takes and reviews given by other creators on this platform. And while I do understand where people are coming from with this, I think you need to actually be honest with yourself and acknowledge that this is nothing special when it comes to dancehall clashes. I am so sorry, but bringing up somebody's criminal history and vulnerable moments is standard in a clash. You know things that Squash did feel psychologically manipulated when Alkaline talk about how his mother get ram out by him friend them and how him friend them a set him up for dead and him didn't even know. Or when the man a brawlingly said to the world say Shabdan a friend killer and I try shake up the entire 6 friend group. But because Massacre brought up something that we already knew happened from like 10 years ago, all of a sudden now it's psychological warfare. And even if Even if it was psychological warfare. But bro, the man could have make a 6-minute song and have half of it painting some kind of picture, like a story of the events that led up to Tommy Lee crying in jail, talking about how all the things that he did for Cartel over the years, the times in 2015, 2016, how Massacre was there behind the scenes with them and he saw their relationship grow and develop and it was like father and son. But yet when Tommy Lee needed him the most, Cartel turned around and this and that happened and that led to this situation, and that's why Tommy Lee was crying. And he's now saying, damn Tommy, I wouldn't be there if I were you. Like, damn, you really go back to this nigga? You know, kind of like how every massive diss track in history has ever been. Did you see Meet the Grahams? After a diss track, like a real truly creative diss track, we're supposed to look upon the artist different. We're supposed to appreciate you as a human. Like, hold on there, you guys were really like family for all these years. Like, you help out the man grandmother, you did this and that, and him really threatened for kill you, and you still go back to him? Like, bro, up to now we don't even really truly know what happened. Massacre, you were behind the scenes with these people. You know them in real life. You're not even try for, like, I'm not saying for inform, but bro, you could at least diss him in some type of way other than just, you know, pull up on him in the traffic, bro, I'm empty out the clip. Nigga, we.
Well, I mean, I have to close the live out and restart the live in order to listen to music, bro. So, like, I don't know, gang. Like, I don't really know what to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in like a weird situation, Brody. Like, I don't know. Like, cause of the way, I don't know why. I think Discord may only do like, cause it's supposed to link in with Twitch. It doesn't link in with like YouTube and other platforms. So maybe like it will only show if I play video games or something like that. You feel me? Cause we tried earlier and it wasn't working. So I didn't really know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, so I was just, I'm actually ahead of where I am in uploads on the Excel form. But like, yeah, I ain't know, bro. Cause like, I don't want to be a hoe towards you. You feel me? I don't want to make you download another app or do no fuck shit just so you could be there. You know? That's what I'm saying though. Like, I don't know what platform where you want to go to when I start doing that, because